Hey you guys, I'm going to do the application sheet. If you got one of these in the mail, I'm going to teach you how to do a quick application using your accent sheets. So you can either do all of these if you would like at once, or you can just pick one or two and do two of your nails or just one of your nails on each hand, and then do the rest with like a lacquer or a nail polish. And then you can kind of test and see kind of how the nail wraps wear as opposed to the polish or lacquer. Step number one, once you get this in the mail, I have instructions here on how to follow. And so I'm just going to go right through those instructions so then that way you can follow along and do this with me. Okay, so number one is prepping your nails. This is like the most important step. You want to make sure that your nails have been prepped properly so that way your nail wrap will stay on your nails for the longest time possible. Well, first I want to see which size I'm going to want to use. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of these pinky colors and I'm going to do a mixed. I'm going to put this one on first and then follow it up with this one here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to choose this guy right here. So what I'm going to do is because it has a clear background, I can measure my fingernail against so I can tell which size I'm going to need. When you have your nail wrap on, you want to make sure that you're going to have a sliver of nail showing on either side. Not huge, but you don't want the nail wrap to touch your skin. If it touches your skin, the oils from your skin will get underneath that wrap and it's not going to stick properly. So it's not going to stay for that up to 2 weeks like we advertise for because you're not getting the application correct. So see how there's not going to be much skin showing or much nail showing. So this one is going to be a little too much, but just for time purposes, that's the nail we're going to go with. I'm going to want to make sure that my ring fingers are prepped properly. What does that mean? That means we're going to make sure that our cuticle is pushed back all the way. It means we're going to make sure that the invisible cuticle is no longer there. If that invisible cuticle is there, it's going to not have a proper seal down here. And so if you get lifting with your nail wraps down here, like when you're in the shower and you're washing your hair and you get hair kind of stuck right in here, you didn't get all that invisible cuticle up, you didn't get a good seal down here. Or you went too close to the actual cuticle line. So what you can do is I'm just going to push back my cuticle. Can you see this? I've got some white stuff down here that hasn't been removed. That is the invisible cuticle. If I go ahead and I place that nail wrap on top of that, it's not going to work. It's going to pull away from my finger. So you can either just keep on trying to get that off. You want to make sure you have a nice, clean, smooth surface. Okay, I got it mostly. There's still just a little bit there. So what I'm going to do is we actually sell a cuticle remover pen. And this works really, really well. I'll share a picture. So you just twist the side here, and then you're just going to dab it on just the cuticle line right here. Just going to dab it on, and you're just going to let it sit for a few seconds. Then after you let it sit for just a few seconds, maybe like 30 seconds to a minute, I'm just going back along here and I'm just scraping back and forth, up and down here, just along that cuticle line, along the edge of my nail here. It's ready to go. Okay, so both ring fingers are ready to go. Step number one, we've pushed back our cuticles. We removed any invisible cuticles. Now we need to shape our nails and clean the surface. I'm happy with the shape that they are currently. So I'm just going to leave that part. And then we're going to clean the surface. So what that means is I'm just going to take some rubbing alcohol. I use towels. You can use a cotton ball or one of those cotton pads or whatever you want. But I just use towels or a washcloth. And I'm just going to clean both ring fingers. because what we're focused on right now is the nail wrap. Okay, so step number 1 is done. Step number 2, using an orange stick or tweezers, we're going to pull the wrap off the plastic and cut the wrap in half. Okay, so I'm going to make sure I'm going to have my mini heater on. I'll do one with a hair dryer as well, so that way you can kind of see the difference. The mini heater is on and it is running. Okay, so I have my instructions. I have some cuticle scissors. I have my nail files. And then I have an orange stick. I'll also do one with some tweezers too. So this is the wrap I'm going to use, is this one here. So I'm going to take the orange stick. I'm just folding this over. See how I'm doing this? Just folding it over. And I slide that right underneath, like this. And I'm just going to cut it in half. I take my cuticle scissors. I'm going to cut that in half. So then once I have that ready to go on my orange stick, do not touch the sticky. If you touch the sticky, your oils from your hands will get onto the adhesive, which will then get on your nails, which will then make your nail wrap not stick as long. So don't touch the back of that with your fingers. So watch how long I heat this. So I'm going to take it pretty close. That's it. That's all. I'm going to take it here and position it on, and I'm not touching the back of that, and I'm just going to roll it out. So then we have it positioned on. We did step number 3, which was heat the wrap for about 1 to 2 seconds. We positioned the wrap onto the nail, leaving a small sliver of nail showing on either side. So just try to get it in the middle. Then we're going to use the 1, 2, 3 method. The 1, 2, 3 method is my favorite method for applying nail wraps. I think it's the best. So what is the 1, 2, 3? The 1, 2, 3 is you're just going to heat the middle of your nail. Then you're going to take the middle and you're going to press it down. Okay? Then you're going to heat one side. Now this is where you can get bubbles. So just be careful. You're just going to push down. If you see a bubble, don't panic. Take your finger and push right in the center of that bubble, and that bubble should disappear. So if you have several, sometimes I get it right here on the side, and then also down here, I'll get bubbles. And so you just push it down right in the center, push it down right in the center, and then it'll come off. We're just going to heat the other side for a few seconds. And again, making sure that we don't get any bubbles. See, there might be one right there. I'm going to take my finger, press down right in the center of that bubble, and then push down and then up. Okay, so there we go. So that was the 1, 2, 3 method. Step number 6. If bubbles form along the side or the top of the nail, please stop. Contact me. Let me know so I can help you out. If you push down in the center of those bubbles, they should disappear. If they don't, let's set up a one-on-one. We can even, if you're local to me, we can get together. If you're not local to me, we can set up like a FaceTime or a Skype or something like that. So then that way I can kind of see what you're doing and give you some help. So there we go. Okay, so number 7 is file in a downward motion to remove the excess wrap. So you're just going to take a regular nail file. Jamberry sells these awesome nail files. I think they're amazing. Any nail file will do. So you're just going to take it and just go down. So down. And you're just going to remove any of that excess nail wrap. Okay, there you go. So it fell off. Here's my little scrap. See, here's my little scrap there that fell off. Okay, so that's step number 7. Step number 8, we're going to heat the nail and press it down one more time. So I'm just going to take mini heater, press it down. We're going to heat the whole thing this time. And that's just to make sure you got it, you know, just extra insurance. These are heat and pressure activated, so we want to make sure that we get a good seal. Great, so that was step number 8. Heat the nail one more time. Number 9, this one's also important. Do the snag test. You're just going to take your nail and you're going to rub it against your shirt. If it snags, you're not done. Keep filing. If it snags on your shirt, it will catch on things. And if it catches on things, it's going to pull away and you're not going to be happy with it. So then there you go. So there's one. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do the other side. And I'm going to use the tweezers and I'm going to use the hairdryer so you can kind of get an idea of how to use that if you don't have an orange stick or the mini heater. If you love Jamberry wraps and you love this application, you love how long it lasts, game changer. Game changer. Okay, so we've already prepped this nail over here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to pull this off. I'm going to now use tweezers. So again, I'm just going to fold this over and I'm going to kind of pinch it so I can get it off of there. And I'm just going to pull it up just like that. Okay, here's the trick with the hairdryer, because sometimes people use a hairdryer the first time they use a Jamberry application, like, oh my gosh, this doesn't work. A lot of times you can overheat the wrap, and if it overheats, then that's not good as well. You want to have enough heat, but not too much heat. This is how long that you need to take it. You don't want, if you go too long, that's not good. So this is literally as much as you need. Ready? We're going to get it so it gets on there. Okay, so your non-dominant hand is going to take a little bit longer than your dominant hand when you're applying. I'm right-handed, so my left hand's easier to apply. My left hand is more difficult, so I probably should have done the orange stick with this one. When you're trying to get it positioned on, don't press it down until you're sure you have it where you want it, because you might have to lift it up and reposition it. If you press down and then have to lift up to reposition it, you could damage your nails. So don't do that. Just make sure that you're just ever so slightly pushing down just so it will stick, so then you can kind of look and see if it's going to be okay. Now we're going to do the 1, 2, 3 with the hairdryer. Here's 1.
Mommy, that's just, yeah.
Okay, now I see some bubbles. So this is good. So hopefully you can see them well on the video. That was 1. So here's 2.
That's, yeah.
Okay. So you see these bubbles right here? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to take them and we're going to just push right through the center of that bubble. Right through the center of that bubble.
Yeah.
So here's where my bubbles are. So I'm just going to take this guy and we're going to push right through the center of that bubble. And then up here is going to be one right here. So right through the center of that bubble. Go from the middle. So if your bubble's down here, you're going to kind of start in the middle and go down. Does that make sense? So if it's on the side, you're just going to go straight out from the middle. Okay, and then once you have it down, I'm just going to kind of rub it back and forth like that. Okay, so now we're going to do 3.
Yeah.
All right, it's also going to bubble on this side over here. So hopefully you guys can see this. Can you see this? Hope you guys can see this. Okay, so we're going to take right here and we're going to push right through the center of that bubble, starting from the middle through the center of the bubble. Right here through the center of the bubble. Down here through the center of the bubble. You see that? I had several. That was at least 3. There's one right here through the center of the bubble. It's hard to do it so that everybody can see. Through the center of that bubble. And we're going to flatten that right out. One over here. Okay?
Mommy,
there we go.
Mommy, that's too long.
So there we go. All flat and ready to go. So now we're going to take our nail file again, and again, just down. So just down. Okay. And that's good to go. All right, so then you can just take, go ahead and I'm going to prep real quick the rest of my nails, and then I'm going to go ahead and paint them. Okay, so here is the final look. There you go, and then you can kind of see how long the lacquer lasts as opposed to the nail wrap. And because you just used one, you can try it 4 more times. So please feel free to post your accent sheet manicure on my Facebook page. I would more than love to have you do that. I love being able to see what my customers are doing. And it just makes it so much fun to see, because so many people are so creative, and it's just fun to see what people come up with. So your accent sheet application instructions. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to me so that way we can get you the best application possible. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.